I'm picking back up with part two of my trip to Germany, Berlin specifically. If you didn't get a chance to watch the first part, or somehow you were just brought here by some link or whatever, and you didn't get to see the first part, please go back and watch it because it talks about my trip from London to Germany and most of the sites that I saw. Most I saw about three or four things, and most of those things are talked about in the first part. So please go back and watch it if you have time. It is about 15 minutes, so if nothing else, listen to it while you read, because it's just me talking. So after I left Checkpoint Charlie, I went to the mall back I tried to find the mall back at Alexanderplatz, which was back on the other side of town. Tried to find it, and it was kind of hard to find, but I did find it, and I ate. But see, this is where even though they speak English in Germany, you're still in trouble if you don't speak or read German. So I was in the food court, and there's this Asian restaurant that I really want to eat. I love eating Asian food because I like rice, I like chicken, I like beef, and they give you piles upon piles of food, as we all know. Asians definitely do that, especially in America, and actually in Asia they used to give you huge amounts of food for your money. So I wanted that. Problem was I couldn't read the menu. The menu was in German, and as I said, I can't speak it, I can't read it. I left my dictionary at the hotel, so I was up a creek without a paddle. So I was scared to ask them if they spoke English, because that just to me would have been so embarrassing if they're like, huh, no English, no English. That just would have been really embarrassing to me if they did that, and then I had to pick myself up off the floor and then go to another stall. So went to this Italian stall that was like two stalls down from them. But on my way, I saw on this table where these two guys were eating, this like linguine Alfredo, and I think it had some chicken in it. I didn't really stare into his plate, but uh, his food looked so good. It looked so good. So I was gonna try to order off the menu. Once again, I can't speak German. Now they had the English name for or Italian name, spaghetti, lasagna, penne, things like that, things that I can understand as an English speaker. They had that, but the description of what was in it was in German. So I was still up a creek without a paddle. So I just ordered lasagna. I know lasagna. I know what's in it. So I ordered that. It was good, but it's still not as much as I would have gotten had I gotten the linguine pasta or the Asian food. But I ate it. So Wednesday, I just shop for clothes. Not much special there. Just shop. Cheap stores like H&M. H&M, I have always heard that H&M in Europe is better than H&M in the States. I do have to concur. Well, I put this way, it's better than H&M in Raleigh, but the clothes that people wear here are not the same clothes that people wear in Raleigh, North Carolina. So you're not gonna have that same type of selection. People in North Carolina dress way more plainly, way more. I don't want to say comfortable because you can be comfortable and be fashionable all at the same time, but just way more laid back. Laid back is the word. More laid back. So the clothes are not going to be all high and mighty or high fashion or whatever you want to call it. They're not going to be like that in North Carolina like they are here in Europe. So bought some clothes. Still not that high fashion what I bought because that's not my style. Although if I wanted to, they had it. So that was Tuesday. Thursday, my last day. So I saved Thursday and went to the Berlin Wall, and that was a once again heartbreaking but very historical trip for me. So I got on the train, checked out the hotel, and got on the train and went to the Nordbahnhof. I think that's like in direct translation North Station, because I think Bahnhof is station, Nord I think is north. So this station sits on the wall. So you come out and the line is right there. Of course, the wall in its entirety is not there now, but it's there. But the line, the demarcation line, is still there. So I come up out of the train, off the platform into the station. The station is like empty. There aren't but like 15 people in the station, and the station has like these low ceilings and these wide corridors and these long corridors, and it just looks so scary. It reminds me of a reoccurring dream that I've had since I was little. That I was in this big, huge supermarket. There were no shelves, but all the paintings, like you know how they paint the wall, like produce and bakery, deli, meat, all of that stuff was still on the walls in these big, huge, massive letters as they are in real grocery stores, but there were no shelves, no cashiers, and I'm in this place alone. And it's so scary because it's huge room with all these big signs, and big signs I've always had an issue with them. Always. It was like that. There were no huge signs in this station, but it was these low and wide corridors, and it was practically empty. There was graffiti a little bit, not much, but the main thing about this station were the, I don't know what to call them, but you know when you go to the museum, they have the big, huge signs that talk about the exhibits, and it gives like specific details and has the pictures and all that. I'm gonna call them signs for the time being. I'm sure there's a more proper name for it. So there were all these signs on the walls as you entered and exited the station. And it was just talking about how different stations in the city were literally sealed. Because, I mean, the train in Berlin has been around since the 1800s, long before the split between East and West Germany, long before. But they would seal off these the East Germans sealed off these train stations because they didn't want them to be used for people to escape over to the West. Um, there were many of them where the trains would go through and slow down, but they couldn't stop. And they couldn't stop because they were sealed. And then there were guards standing on the platforms. And there were these pictures and there was a video of people who had tried to escape. Not pictures of them actually escaping, but pictures of where they escaped and things like that. Pictures of the guards, and it told stories of people who would escape, and it was just really, it just crazy just to see what people did to escape and how many different avenues, because I'd seen some of the avenues they used to escape, like Checkpoint Charlie, on Tuesday, but then I go on Thursday and see people trying to escape through the train system. It's just crazy, and all I could think of was that if your country is such that people are fleeing, and to keep them from leaving, from immigrating out, you have to put laws in to keep them in. That means you're doing something wrong. But I mean, I guess that's my bit with communism and how everything just comes back to the government. It never gets redistributed to the people, and the people end up poor. But that's another discussion because someone's probably going to disagree with that. But the stories were just awe-inspiring. They really were, and they're also heartbreaking because once again, it's like, what would I be doing if I were in that situation? So also in this mini exhibit, they had pictures and information about how some of these were sealed off, but people didn't even know that there were stations. I mean, if you didn't pay attention, there's like one station right by the Brandenburg Gate that's there now. It is a station. I actually went down into it using this particular entrance that was actually closed, and they plopped a security station on top of it to disguise it, so you didn't know it was a subway station. Just crazy stuff. just really, really crazy measures that they went to keep people in East Germany. So I went out of the station, and the wall was right there. And there is a piece of the wall that is still intact that they did not tear down. So you can go see the wall covered in graffiti. I have pictures on Facebook covered in graffiti. But you can walk down the memorial. Once again, they have more of those like museum signs with information about people who died at the wall, people who jumped over the wall successfully, um, all that. In the pictures that I took of myself, I held the camera up and did I have a wide angle lens on my little pocket camera. I couldn't bring myself to smile in any of the pictures. I mean, it wasn't a smiling type place. And it just didn't feel right. And if you know me, you know I'm always smiling on my pictures, but I couldn't do it this time. But very educational. I actually went up and touched the wall just to say I actually touched the Berlin Wall. For me, that there was something in that because I was just thinking like, look at God, that I'm here. But yeah, really, really awe-inspiring and all of that. And once again, I'm really, really glad that I got the chance to go. So I thought I was going to have everything done in 2 pieces. I don't. So the last piece is going to be just reflections and a couple of things that happened after I went to the Berlin Wall. So this next piece, part 3, will be the last piece to this trip. I'm trying to get it all in so I can let you all know exactly what happened. It was a whole lot that happened in 2 days. Whole lot going through my mind. So anyway, stay tuned. Part 3 coming up.